Unitářská kongregace Rosslyn Hill, kterou jsme za Unitářskou akademii navštívili, sídlí v Hampsteadu v severní části Londýna. Blíže nás s ní seznámí její současná duchovní.
I'm Reverend Kate Dean. I am the Unitarian minister of Rosslyn Hill Chapel, which is a chapel in North London in Hampstead. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our chapel. It's a relatively large congregation in the UK, and we have 2 services on a Sunday. Recently we also introduced a 30-minute mindfulness session just before the evening service, which brings in a lot of new people who might not think of coming to a traditional chapel, but they've heard of mindfulness and so they come for the meditation that we offer.
Hampstead je turistickou oblastí, což je pro sbor nespornou výhodou, jelikož díky tomu do kaple často zavítá nemalé množství náhodných kolemjdoucích. Ti se mohou stát účastníky některé z mnoha událostí, které tato obec organizuje.
As well as our Sunday morning and evening services, we usually have something happening on a Monday evening. So this includes monthly groups such as the poetry group, the book group, also a discussion group, and a small weekday worship service called Heart and Soul. We've got a lively congregation and they like to take part in different things, so we also have a choir that meets on a Wednesday and they perform during services once a month. The congregation really enjoy music, and so as well as having the choir perform, we have a semi-professional quartet who sing once a month, and sometimes other guest musicians. In terms of other programs, we have some which don't run throughout the year. For example, we're just about to start a program called Soul Deep. It's going to run in the evenings in September and October, and it will be a combination of spiritual development, so following your personal spiritual path, and a little bit more about Unitarian history and theology.
Kromě obvyklých shromáždění, s nimiž bychom se setkali pravděpodobně ve většině unitářských sborů, pořádá Rosslyn Hill Chapel i několikero velmi specifických a neobvyklých aktivit. Nezapomíná ale také slavit významné svátky vlastní svému kulturnímu prostředí.
My name is Shana and I'm a member of Rosslyn Hill Chapel in Hampstead. I currently serve on the Board of Trustees, which governs this community. We're very lucky that our team from the Estates Group have worked hard to improve the lighting in this building, so it's nice and bright in here this morning, and it also allows us to change the lighting depending on the mood of the service and the mood of the elements of the service. So a real chameleon. And talking of chameleon, the chapel building works like a chameleon. The pews were taken away in the mid-1960s, and that allows for the chapel to be used in so many other ways. We like to follow the UU principles, and that is also taken up by our children's chapel, which meets every Sunday. The children's chapel opens up their service by saying the words, "We are the chapel of the open mind, the loving heart and the helping hands."
I'm Margaret Perry. I've been a member of the chapel for over 30 years, and at the moment I serve as an elder. I'm interested in the history of the chapel. It's a story of courage and a story of endurance, I think. The first meetings were convened by Isaac Honeywood in 1692 in his home and later his barn. It was Unitarians and dissenters were allowed to register places of worship in 1692 and not before. There has been persecution. Not until the Act of Toleration in the middle of the 1900s did the current congregation feel really happy about building this beautiful church. Before then, buildings could be confiscated by the mainstream churches, so it was really rather a test of endurance. In 1842, another Act of Parliament allowed Unitarians to feel secure with their buildings, and then it was in 18 1862 that this building was created.
Interiér kaple v Rosslyn Hill je opravdu unikátní. K realizaci její dnešní podoby došlo v roce 1862 dle návrhu architekta Johna Johnsona. V roce 1885 byla budova rozšířena pod vedením Thomase Worthingtona. Finální stavba s klenutým stropem a kamennými oblouky má úžasnou akustiku. Její novogotický styl navozuje dojem síly a stability, stejně tak jako evokuje pocit tajemna a posvátné bázně. Spirituální rozměr umocňují vitrážová okna z dílny významných umělců své doby, jakými byli William Morris, Sir Edward Burne-Jones a Henry Holiday. Za pozornost stojí i skulptury, plastiky a výzdoba zdiva. Obzvláště významné je dílo od malířky Helen Allingham, která byla první ženou, které bylo umožněno studovat na Královské akademii. Budova sama o sobě by ale byla ničím bez lidí, kteří se v ní scházejí. Duchovní shromáždění na tomto místě byly v průběhu věků účastny některé vskutku pozoruhodné osobnosti.
Well, one of our most famous attenders here was George Eliot. George Eliot is considered perhaps the most famous novelist after Charles Dickens. She wasn't a member here, she was an attender, she was an atheist, although she had been strongly evangelical as a young person. But she didn't despise church-going, she saw the values that people had from church-going, the value of community and the opportunity for her favourite value of loving kindness. She has been in this room. I feel it's a wonderful connection.
Za zmínku jistě stojí i exteriér budovy, tvořený fasádou z malých neopracovaných kusů kentského vápence. Zasazena do klidné zahrady, plné stromů, květin a širokých chodníčků, působí kaple jako oáza klidu v jinak rušné čtvrti plné obchodů a kaváren. Vstupní cestička, která byla zbudována v roce 1898 s bouráním opuštěných obchodů, propojila kapli s Rosslyn Hill a přímo vybízí k prozkoumání tohoto místa.